Shalom, 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 Israel. All right, Brother Tazamah, coming back at y'all with another video through the Spirit, giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Right? And the topic of this video is how to keep the Feast of Purim, or what is Purim, if you don't know. Right? Lord willing, this video will be edifying through the Spirit. All right, so we're gonna dive into it. All right, let me kick it off with the classic precept. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. Right? So these feast days that we got from the Most High, are they holy convocations. Right? Meaning you supposed to link up with brothers and congregate. Now, if you don't have a congregation, or you kind of alone in this thing, Lord willing, the Most High send you somebody to congregate with. All right, so we diving into, let me get another quick precept. This the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 8. I'm gonna start at 7. For what nation is there so great who have God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I said before you this day? I said, what nation is so great? Hey, they got laws, statutes, and commandments, and high holy days. Right? That's us. Why you think all these other nations want to take our heritage and take the laws, statutes, commandments? Right? I guarantee you, if you go to Israel right now, you probably not gonna see no homeless people at all. Right? Because they as a whole, Amalek, the fake Jews, they keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And in this law, man, it get deep. Right? It teach you how to be a man, how to be a woman, right? How to take care of your community, how to not have your brother out here on the streets, right? So that's why these people try to take our heritage, man, because it literally gets nations in order. I'm gonna keep saying that. These laws, statutes, commandments, and feast days gets nations in order. Right? So we gonna hop into Purim. Right? Now Purim is about the destruction of Haman the Agagite, aka the Macedonian, aka the so-called white man. Right? He tried to kill all Jews. Right? That's why we celebrating this feast. Right, now let's you could read about that in the book of Esther. The whole is 10 chapters, is not that much, but we're gonna do a quick summary. It's the book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, after these things the king of Ahasuerus promote him and the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advance him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Right, now, if you don't know who Mordecai is, right, if you do, okay. If you don't, hey, Mordecai is Esther's uncle, right? And he was a Jew, and he didn't want to bow down to the so-called white man, right? Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Salakia. Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them he was a Jew. Right? Mordecai said, I'm not bowing down. I'm an Israelite. I'm a Jew. Right? I'm not bowing down to you. Verse 5, and when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. So Haman, hey, that's how these devils get, man. They'll get mad. If you tell them I'm not black no more, or I'm not African American, they'll get mad. Then they'll want to lay hands on you. Verse 6, and he sought to scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shown him the people of Mordecai. Therefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. right? So he sought to lay hands on Mordecai, right? Right? Don't it say in Matthew the 21st chapter, 50 on down, right? Hey, they sought to lay hands on Yahushua, one Yahushua Jew, right? So these people, hey, these so-called white people, they don't like you. They don't care about you. This is your enemy according to the Bible. Verse 7, in the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of Ahasuerus, they cast Pur, that is the lot, right? That's where you get the word Purim from. Purim, if you look up in a blue letter, it just means lot, right? Because they cast lots to see when they was going to destroy all the Jews, which is wicked. It says before Haman, from day to day, from month to month, the 12th month, that is the month of Dar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither they keep the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. Right? He said, hey, what's up with these Jews? Right? They laws, statutes, and commandments so different from everybody else's laws, and they don't even want to keep the king's commandment. Verse 9, and if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from the hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. Right, so it just said Haman is the Jews' enemy, right? And we know through the spirit, Haman is so-called white man, right? Actually, he is a so-called white man. We're gonna grab that. This the book of additions to Esther, chapter. It might be different in y'all Bible, but this in the King James 1611. This is the book of Esther, chapter 16, verse 10. For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amitha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood and far distance from our goodness, as a stranger received of us. Right, so it just said Haman is a Macedonian, right? The son of Hamitha, right? So, hey, we know the Macedonians is the Greeks. So Haman was a Greek. And we know the Greeks is just another cover-up name from Esau, the so-called white man. Back to the book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 11. And the king said to Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth to thee. I'm going to jump down to verse 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th of the 12th month, which is the month of Dar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. Right, so they sought to kill all Jews, right, young and small, women and children. Haman wasn't playing, right? I'm a jump to we'll start at verse 4 and 1. This is the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 1. Yeah, Esther get man. This whole book is just deep. It says, when Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and went out into the midst of cried with a loud and bitter cry. Right, so Mordecai, after he heard that, hey man, he kind of ripped his clothes off. Right, he said, I'm gonna proclaim a fast to the Most High God, Yahweh. Verse 2, and it came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth, and in every province whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. Right, so mostly all the Jews is in their fasting, man, praying to the Most High. Now like I said, this is a quick summary. You could read the book of Esther. It's not that long. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. the whole book, Salakia. I'm going to jump to the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 12. It says, Haman said, moreover, yeah, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king into the banquet that she had prepared, but myself and tomorrow I am invited into her also with the king. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. Then said Jeresh his wife and all his friends unto him, Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king, that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go into merrily with the king unto the banquet, and the thing pleased Haman. He caused the gallows to be made. Right, so his wife is off, man. She wicked as hell. She said, hey, let a gallows be made. If you don't know what a gallows is, it's something that you hang some people on. Right, that they used to hang us on in the 1800s. And still hang us to this day, I'm led to believe. Right, so his wife said, let us make a gallows, right, 50 cubits high, that we may hang Mordecai on. And Haman was well pleased. I'm gonna jump from there to the book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 7. And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make a request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was falling upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, Will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And Harbana, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, Behold also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good of the king, standing in the house of Haman. Then the king said, Hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on a gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. Right? So the tables flipped, man. Haman, he got hanged on there. Right? He tried to hang Mordecai. Next thing you know, he had a meeting with Esther and the king. And the tables flipped and Haman got hanged. Right? So that's why we celebrate this. I'm gonna jump from Esther chapter 8, verse 7 says, Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Right, so he tried to lay his hand upon the Jews, and they hanged them, man. All praises. Verse 15, I'm going to jump to verse 15. And Mordecai went out of the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. Right, so the Jews was teeing up, and Mordecai, and he was kind of fresh. Right, he was flexing, man, in righteousness in his garment. 16, the Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor, and whatsoever providence in every city, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a day, for many of the people of the land became Jews, for they feared the Jews fell upon them. Right, so basically the feast day is going into the destruction of Haman. Right, he cast lots upon us, see, when we get destroyed, and it got flipped on him. Right, it kind of got flipped, and he got hanged on. Right, we're gonna get to now this is the point. This is the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 17. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, on the 14th day the same rested, they made a day of feasting and gladness. Right, so yesterday was when Purim started. Right now, it's back to back, and you got to keep it at sundown. It's the second day of Purim. Right, you're supposed to be teeing up, turning up. Right, get your favorite wine. Meet up with brothers. Right, sisters, meet up with sisters and have a good time. Right, just like Jake would on Thanksgiving. Right, Jake could go crazy on the 4th of July. Hey, that's how you gotta be in the truth, man, with these feast days. It says, but verse 18, but the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. So you gotta throw down for the Purim. This the last day. You gotta go crazy. Verse 19, therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled town made 14th day of the month of Adar, day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions to one another. Right? So you could send gifts to people on this day also. Right? You could give out gifts. Right? And Mordecai wrote all these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the kings of Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, in a month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions to one another, and gifts to the poor. Right, so this day is a day of feasting and joy. Right, that's Purim. That's a day of feasting and joy. And if you won't, hey, you should be sending gifts to the poor, man. Like it say in the book of Esther, 9 and 22 on down. Right, it says, I'm gonna jump down to 25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that this wicked device which he devised against the Jews should return upon his own head, that he and his son should be hanged on the gallows. Right? Like I said, it kind of flipped. Right? It flipped switches on him. Right? He tried to kill the Jews and hang them, and Haman and his sons got hanged. Verse 26, and they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore all the words of this letter, of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them. Right, so that's basically it. Right, you can read the book of Esther on your own. Right, it's only 10 chapters. That's why we celebrate Purim. And you should be keeping these feast days, man. Right, like it said in the book of Judges 5 and 11, you got to rehearse the righteous acts. So Lord willing, right, people on this video was edified. If you already knew, right, you know how to keep it now. Right, if you didn't know, you just learned about it. So Lord willing, you was edified through the Spirit, right, giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh. Right, with that, I'm going to give a mighty shalom.